Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, February 24th, 2022. Going to continue on with the pH indicator with the trend segment identification. Continue on with how you want to look at that and use this indicator. In this particular case, we're looking at the P1 and P2, the top two ribbons, with the P2 being the primary. The P1 just kind of fine tunes the small time window. So we had the identified the trend segment yesterday when we came on in the morning about 6 o'clock. We had this P1 and P2. P2 was yellow, P1 was light blue. That upward move lasted until this yellow segment with the light blue P2 to P1 again. So what happens, we can look for that to continue as we trend down, and that's a likely place where significant low is going to come in. Now we also had this timing window in here where that high came in. So with the timing window and knowing that we had a significant low in this P2 yellow window, we have this yellow window inside our significant timing window. The market trades up into there, makes a new high, and gives us a really nice place to take a short position based on the timing window and the pH trend segment. So what happens, we had another timing window later in the day at 4, but first off, what we want to do is look for the next yellow segment, and we had one in that as the day session started, and we hit that blue P1 and yellow P2 at about 11:23 a.m. So what happened there, we got a low came in and ended that segment, and then we got a significant long trade out of that. So that was a good indication there of trend reversal, and you could have taken profit on your short and flipped that up to long at that point. Now, after the day session started, I'm looking for other significant points, and normally I'd be looking to project a trend from the next high. And what happened here, we had this kind of a long, flat, sideways with not a really clear indication for a high. So when you get this sort of price action, it's hard to make accurate projections out of there because you're really in that whole band of price action at that high. So it's kind of difficult to really, you could pull the exact high out of there, but there's so much price action close to that you're not going to get an accurate prediction. So what happens after we make this low and we get our first significant reaction of the day session, we then look at the following high that takes place off of there, and that's right here by this vertical line in red arrow, and that's in the light blue P2 and the light purple to dark blue P1 intersection. So if we look for that future point, now we're looking at light blue to say dark blue here on P1. Now we go through, we pass one right here, but we are not at a low. We are kind of in between. We've already had a low right here, and we've traded back up to that area in that window. So now we're kind of inside the prior price action. We're not at a point where we've got a low forming. So what can we expect? We can expect that that's going to continue possibly to the next window. Just like we did on the day before, we transited through the first yellow repeat and went to the second. And now we're doing the same thing here with the light blue window. So now we get to the next light blue window, and right here where it goes purple to blue, This low comes in after this near the beginning of the European session this morning. We get that low and then we move up again. The other thing I really want to point out that's pretty strong here is any points that are coming in between the day session close at 4:15 or p.m. or 16:15 time. Between there and at least midnight, if not a little bit longer, you want to hold off on taking any window, timing window, or pH as being solid. Our solid trading points generally come between, I'm going to just say, 1:30 a.m. and the end of the day session. So you really want to stick with those points to identify these key pivot scenarios. So you can see that we did trade down. We made and initially we made this low here uh, in the evening at 22:45. Then we trekked up a little sideways to up reaction off of that down impulse, and then we made a new low to this point, and that was the overnight low so far. So now, what would you do? You can continue to watch the light blue P2 block and see if we get another move into that next block. But you can see how these pH trend segments come into play, and these are in play on most days. You're going to identify these pretty nice trend points. Sometimes you might go just to the next segment. Sometimes you may go two segments. So this high came in at 12, let's just say 12:30 to round it off. We would have looked for the first repeat at around 1900 or so, 1907. So that's about a 6.5, 7 hour swing there. We ended up being in between, not at a low point, so we can expect that to continue. That continued until about 2:30. So that gave a really nice, like a 14-hour trend move that you can identify and see these in advance. So if you have this tool and you go back and look at this and you look at it in this manner, you're going to find a lot of these points. Now you may get a different planet in control, a different color that's going to be dominant at a particular time, but if you just use the significant highs and lows, you will start to see these, and then you can use those to your advantage. So that's it for today. We'll be back again Friday with another video. We'll talk to you guys then.